My name is Karen, and I am a dreamer. I grew up in Iowa since I was 9 years old. The term dreamer is used to describe young, undocumented immigrants that were brought to the U.S. as children. My goal is to encourage dreamers to share their stories so that the public can understand that dreamers are talented, hardworking individuals who want to contribute to this great nation. This country is the only home we know. I was born in 1989. My biological father abandoned my mother, Margot, when she was 5 months pregnant. And as a single mom, she had to work very hard. Later, she met Jaime, who became her fiancé. He was a well-known lawyer who was fighting against corruption in Guatemala. My brother, who is also named Jaime, was born in 1991. But just 2 months after that joyful day, tragedy hit our family. His father, Jaime, was murdered on the street as he was coming out of his office. 40 days after his murder, our mother made a very difficult decision. I say difficult not only because she had to leave her home country, but because she had to leave us behind. In America, she was able to obtain asylum and a work permit that she had to reapply for every year. It was nearly 7 years before she could afford traveling arrangements for my brother and I. The first time we traveled to the US was on March of '99. It was so great to see her again, but the days passed quickly and it was time to return to Guatemala. I didn't want to go back. I wanted to be with my mother. I entered the US a second time on October of '99 and haven't been back since then. It's been 17 years. Growing up, I did not know what overstaying my visa meant. But reality hit me after graduating high school in 2007, when I realized that being undocumented meant I had very little chances of attending college or getting a job. I met Joe Crookham in 2010. He took my brother and I to meet an immigration attorney. And on the way back, he asked a question that changed my life. He said, "Do you want to go to school?" I was thrilled. You can imagine what my answer was.
Dreamers want to contribute back to the country that they live in, just like any other American does. They need the tools, they need the training to be able to be contributors. That's why my wife and I decided to provide an educational opportunity for Karen.
That same year, my mother was deported. She had been fighting a legal battle with USCIS dating back to 2007. She had lived in the U.S. for over 18 years, worked legally, met and joined with a new intended husband, Oscar. They bought a home, had a child, paid taxes, were hardworking individuals, but none of that seemed to matter to the immigration judge. On August 12, 2010, and even though her work permit had not yet expired, she was picked up by Immigration Customs Enforcement at her workplace and treated like a criminal. She spent 2 weeks in jail before being deported back to Guatemala. They did nothing to assure that her children had any care. Not even Nadia, her daughter, who was 12 years old and was a U.S. citizen. My sister Nadia was forced to grow up without her mother. And since then, our family has been separated by the injustice of the broken immigration system in America. Later in 2012, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, also known as DACA, was established. This has been a great opportunity, but it is not a permanent solution. After obtaining DACA, I went to the Iowa DOT office to obtain my driver's license and found myself in shock when the employee told me that I couldn't get one. That same day, Iowa had canceled the right for DACA youth to obtain their driver's license. If I'd just gone in 1 day earlier, I would have been able to obtain my driver's license. The first person I called was Joe, and after a conversation, he was determined to find solutions. An article written by Kyle Munson from the Des Moines Register explained that Mr. Crookham was among a team of 8, including 3 immigration attorneys and his close friend Tommy Franks, the retired Army general who talked to the governor and other politicians to reconsider and reestablish driver's licenses for DACA youth in Iowa.
Dreamers want to be productive citizens just like other members of the American family. A driver's license is an important tool to be able to achieve that success. I was shocked when I learned that Iowa had reversed its policy and was no longer going to allow Dreamers to have driver's license as in other states in the nation. I was very pleased when a small group of us were able to get the governor and others to understand the need for reinstating driver's license for the young Americans who had come here as children.
Joe and his wife Jeannie have been a blessing in my life. They've taken me under their wing and made sure I have the tools and opportunities to complete my education. I obtained my Bachelor of Arts degree with a major in business management from William Penn University and will have my graduation ceremony on May 7, 2016.
I'm surprised and disappointed that a nation of immigrants is so bad at establishing immigration policy. Of course, we have to have rules and protection against drug lords and criminals that would come across our borders. But certainly we ought to be able to establish policies that allow people that came here as children to be able to become productive citizens of our country.
My children, Christopher and Alexander, were born in the U.S., and I want to make sure they and other children that have undocumented parents don't go through what my siblings and I did. I urge the immigrant community and allies to continue organizing and working towards a comprehensive immigration reform and reunite those families that have been separated.